Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is MegaShadowFist, and welcome back to Ace Attorney Dual Destinies at my parents' house edition. Today is Black Friday in the US. I came back to my parents' house for Thanksgiving break, which was yesterday, obviously, at the time of recording this. So, yeah, I'm at my parents' house. I'm out of my college dorm right now. I don't know, I just felt like saying that because why not? And so anyway, we last left off. Yeah, Mr. Rhymes revealed a certain form to himself that was a bit surprising. Like, it was just, let's just go ahead and continue. From slot 1, it looks like. Well, this data, yes, please. So let's go ahead and continue, if you will. I was kind of paranoid for a second that I forgot to hit start capture on my capture card. Luckily, I didn't. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue. What are you talking about? It's my contention that two incidents happened at the show pool. The attempted murder of the orca, and the victim falling to his death. First of all, in order to kill the orca, Mr. Rhymes removed something from the scene. And by doing so, he made it possible for Mr. Shipley to fall to his death. What did he remove? This is what Mr. Rhymes removed in an attempt to kill Orla. I think that's supposed to be Phoenix, not the judge that's saying that, but whatever. Okay, so, let's look at everything. So, what if Mr. Rhymes wanted to kill Orla was somehow connected to Mr. Shipley's death? I lost words. Enough of the reckless words. They aren't reckless words. The basis for my claim is that the real murder is the show pool. What are you talking about? It's my contention that the two incidents happened at the show pool. The attempted murder of the orca and the victim falling to his death. First of all, in order to kill the orca, Mr. Rhymes removed something from the scene, and by doing so, he made it possible for Mr. Shipley to fall to his death. The ladder? Did he remove I would assume he removed the water? What? Sure. Like, this is... Here we go. We don't get a penalty for this. Don't tell me you're trying to claim you tried to kill the orca by draining the pool water. That's exactly what I'm claiming. To help the defendant with the cleaning, Marlon Rhymes took charge of Orla, with a plan to kill Orla in the show pool, and because the pool water was drained. It made it possible for Jack Shipley to fall to his death in the show pool. I kind of forgot how to do the Rhymes voice already, like the new Rhymes voice. The steroids rhyme. What? Ryan's voice. I tried to kill the orca, you say? Can you even prove there is nary a drop of water in the pool? That day I was simply looking after the orca. Why would I have the monstrous thought of killing it? Objection! You claim you were looking after Orla in the early morning hours of July 20th, but I don't think you were doing a very good job of it. After all, Orla wasn't given anything to eat during that time. How would you know such a thing? I know because of Orla's record here in the torpedo data system. Okay, so I got some comments. That's what I was supposed to do. So, what I wanted to do was, Sir Suppleted left a comment, because Sir Suppleted is a was a pharmacy student, so he gave me a little insight as to why things like this would be considered illegal. Normally, like, this isn't like VA11, where, like, I'm recording on my computer, so I can just, like, open up, like, Gmail and then look at the comment. I can't do that since I'm recording on my phone, so I can't really check the comment verbatim. But what he said was basically, if I recall correctly, there are, like, two types of patents that you can have for something. There's, like, a patent on, like, the use of the drug, and there's a patent on the the chemical, like, not the chemical, but the compound, you know, the chemical makeup of the whatchamacallit. Like he gave an example of Viagra, which, if you don't know, that's the natural male enhancer. It's basically, you know, for erectile dysfunction and everything. But apparently, it can also be used to treat childhood. There was some type of childhood thing that it could also treat. However, the patent's only on the natural erectile dysfunction. If you were to use it for anything other than erectile dysfunction, it would be illegal because the FDA has not approved it for anything other than that specific usage. So in this case, despite the fact that it's a perfectly normal thing to do, it probably hasn't been approved by the FDA or whoever would approve it. whoever had approved it, so it would be considered illegal. I'm not quite sure that made any sense, but yeah, I thought that was quite interesting, actually. Anyway, I know because of Orla's record here in the torpedo data system. This system continuously records data on the subject it monitors. From Orla's record, we can tell exactly what she ate, or didn't eat.
Sink me, nobody ever told me about that dastardly contraption!
Only a few of the Shipshape Aquarium staff know about this system. According to Orla's record, she never ate in those early morning hours of the 20th. You planned to kill Orla, and that's why you didn't feed her.
Silence!
You're wasting time. What proof do you have of that? Perhaps Orca simply wasn't hungry. I'm not doing the voice properly. He's right. I don't have any proof. If Orla simply didn't eat, then that would create an inconsistency. Where did her fish go? Her fish? Good question. Where did it disappear to?
Fish. What does it matter? What relevance does it have to the case? Cease this stalling by asking inconsequential questions. Stop diving to the depths of the orca's stomach and delve into the case instead.
Objection, please. But wait, it may seem like a small inconsistency, but it's an issue of great importance, I think.
What are you driving at, Mr. Wright?
How could the fish disappear? Somebody must have eaten it. So who came to the show stage and ate Orla's fish? I think I might have a pretty good idea. I believe there must have been a visitor to the show stage that Mr. Rhymes didn't notice.
Visitor? Are you trying to introduce yet another suspect at this 11th hour? If you utter more of your careless remarks, Tucker won't look favorably upon it.
I don't plan to utter any careless remarks. Whether my remarks will actually be related to the case or not, I don't know yet. I don't yet know. Don't worry, boss. If Tucker comes this way, I'll fend him off. But do try to keep your remarks careful. Somehow, Orla's fish disappeared. Somebody must have visited the show stage, but who? This is the visitor to the show stage. I believe Rifle, the penguin, visited the show stage.
First an orca, now a penguin. Why would you be saying such a thing, Mr. Lawyer? I didn't see Rifle during the wee early morning hours. Do you have any proof Rifle visited the show stage? If you be a lawyer of any sort, show me your evidence.
The bottom of Rifle's feet were pink for some reason. That fact is a clue that Rifle was indeed at the show stage. I have to present a piece of evidence that connects Rifle to the show stage. Oh, okay, I get you. Now to prove I'm a lawyer worth my salt, so that's how we're actually going to use that evidence, huh? This is the proof that the Rifle visited the show stage. The whatchamacallit that was drying yesterday, it has pink whatchamacallit. Right? There we go.
Oh my, what a cute little sign. Look at all those adorable stars.
These stars are actually starfish. Miss Buckler painted the sign. In the early morning hours of the 20th, she left this sign at the show stage to dry. Mr. Rhines kept an eye on the sign for Miss Buckler while the paint was drying.
Aye, that be true, but what be your point?
On this sign is proof that Rifle visited the show stage.
Proof of the penguin's visit? I'm afraid I don't see it. Where is the proof that the penguin visited the show stage? Please point it out.
On this part, like I would assume it, oh, no, actually, I almost made the mistake. Okay, it's right here.
Take that!
A couple of the pink starfish are shaped a little differently from the others.
Ah, you're right. They look almost like little leaves.
Rifle had pink paint on the bottom of her feet. These little leaf-like shapes on the sign are actually Rifle's footprints. Rifle made these footprints by walking on the sign before it was dry.
Ho ho! What cute little pink penguin prints!
So they're footprints. What of them? Marlon Rhines was watching over the sign at the show stage while the paint dried, and during that time the penguin paid a visit. According to the torpedo data system, we know that Rifle ate something that morning of the 20th. Most likely, Rifle ate the fish meant for Orla that was at the show stage. Orla's snack was a small quantity of fish. Even a penguin could have eaten it all.
Begod! Rifle ate Orla's fish? Who be ye to say Rifle ate Orla's fish? She could have picked up food anywhere. But that doesn't change the fact that I really was at the show stage. After all, I had to help move the skull rock. It couldn't have been moved without me.
The witness claims he never saw the penguin. How do you explain this contradiction? Both Mr. Rhines and Rifle were at the show stage, but Mr. Rhines didn't see her. So where could Mr. Rhines have been at the time? Rightful, if you aren't up to the task, I could disprove this witness's testimony for you. If I leave it to Prosecutor Blackwell, Sasha will be declared guilty. I can't let him interrupt this line of reasoning.
Mr. Wright, let's try to figure out how things looked when Rifle came to the show stage.
Okay, so, Mr. Rhines was at the show stage, keeping an eye on Orla in the sign.
And we know it must be true because he helped move the skull rock.
And then Rifle came in and walked over the sign.
But wouldn't Mr. Rhines notice Rifle if he was right there?
Well, let's think about where Mr. Rhines could have been. Is there a place in the show stage area in which Rifle couldn't have been seen? It doesn't look like we get a penalty for this. Is there a place in the show stage area from which Rifle couldn't have been seen? Okay, so if Rifle is right here, what I want to say is that since Mr. Rhines, because hold on, let's open up our evidence here. So we see this, right? The finger was discovered by the pro of the show stage. They're Rhines, but there's something odd about them. The fact that they're upside down. So if he was on the ladder, upside down, he wouldn't have been able to see Rifle, maybe? I don't know. I'm not quite sure if that makes any sense. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm not quite sure that's what they want.
Take that! What? Inside the pool? But you're right. If he was inside the pool, he wouldn't have noticed Rifle. So are you saying Mr. Rhines was underwater the whole time Rifle was eating?
No, not underwater. When I think about what he was trying to do, the answer is clear. Now I'm finally starting to get the whole picture. Just like yesterday. Must you two always be whistling to each other? Why didn't you admit that resorting to a penguin would get you nowhere?
Objection!
Objection, please? Oh, I don't know about that. The fact that Mr. Rhines didn't notice Rifle is such a small inconsistency. But it's a key point that proves that Mr. Rhines proves what Mr. Rhines is trying to do. The penguin is a key point. The show stage pool is very deep. If Rifle came to visit while Mr. Rhines is at the bottom of this pool, he would have never noticed Rifle. Arrgh! Orcas can be out of the water for a short time without sustaining damage, but if they're out of the water for a long time, they weaken and eventually die. In order to kill Orla, Mr. Rhines had to drain the pool. And while the pool was drained of water, Mr. Shipley fell to his death. The show stage pool is about 65 feet deep, just like the Orca pool. Without water in the pool, a person could be made to fall 65 feet. Mr. Rhines probably wondered what to do. If he continued with his plan to kill Orla, how would he dispose of Mr. Shipley's body? So he devised a plan to kill two birds with one stone. What? How? Mr. Rhines went down to the bottom of the pool and put the victim's body in the rock. He then had Miss Buckler move the rock and the body together.
Silence.
And the witness made the defendant do this somehow without arousing a suspicion. That's right. Mr. Shipley told Miss Buckler that she couldn't perform in the new show. Miss Buckler became upset and wanted to switch back to the old version of the show. So Mr. Rhines conveniently suggested that she take and hide a prop for the new show. Mr. Rhines then manipulated Orla using her singing and lifesaver tricks. But she can only do one trick at once, right? Wait. He schemed to have Orla find the body while Mr. Plume would be standing witness. He saddled Orla with a false charge of murder so that Orla would be put down. What? No, wrong voice. What? Roar! That blood came out of his whatchamacallit. So the fact that the witness didn't see the penguin shows that when Rifle visited the show stage, Rhines was putting the body in the rock. At the bottom of the pool, that is. Who would have thought the presence of a penguin could prove the witness's actions? It's working. Just a little further now and Sasha will be proven not guilty. It's working! It's working! Shut up, Anakin. If you think you've won this battle, you are sorely mistaken.
Your theory is based on the notion that the witness could manipulate the orca. Witness, can you control the orca's actions? Of course not. What kind of bilge be that? I be but a simple animal keeper. If my memory serves, wasn't Miss Buckler the only one who could issue commands to the orca? The judge's blade is sharper than the lawyer's. If you wish to do battle with a witness, you need a honed blade. Where's your sort of evidence that Marlon Rhymes could manipulate the orca? Ah!
Rhymes had to have manipulated Orla in order for his plan to work. But how can I prove it?
Well, it appears this line of reasoning has become unsustainable. Well, it appears that I was mistaken.
Athena? I've analyzed the hearts of all kinds of people. I have enough experience to see when I look into your heart that you haven't given up. So that objection was my way of speaking up for your heart.
She's right. Why did I become a lawyer again, only to give up? I have to keep fighting. Athena, thank you. With your help, I've remembered the old right way.
The right way?
Your Honor, I'm not finished with presenting my argument.
Do you have anything else to ask this witness?
You've cross-examined all the witnesses to present all the evidence.
Objection!
All the witnesses? I don't think so. And this is where we cross-examine Orla, huh? I haven't cross-examined the most important one, the central figure in both cases. The central figure. The one involved in not only the case a year ago, but this current case too. I've never called her as a witness, but it's time to do so now.
Who are you talking about? I demand you tell the court immediately. Who is this central figure in both cases?
Take that!
The defense calls the central figure in both cases Orla the Orca.
You intend to cross-examine an orca?
Arr! Cross-examine an orca! You must be addled, it'd be impossible, says I!
Silence.
This absurdity is beyond the pale. How do you expect to question an orca, a creature incapable of speech?
Objection!
Orla is intricately involved in this case. I have every right to cross-examine her. Besides, even if she can't speak, I think cross-examining her will be invaluable.
Very well, do what you will then. But if you fail to garner anything from this little exercise of the orca, I hope you realize the reward for your efforts will be the defendant's guilty verdict.
I'm ready and confident.
So, cross-examining Orla, huh? That was a bold move, boss.
Now we've cross-examined a penguin, or not a penguin, a parrot before. Granted, the parrot could actually speak. I don't know.
Now all we have to do is figure out how Mr. Rhymes manipulated Orla.
That's right. Now it's Orla's turn to help us save Sasha.
An orca defendant yesterday, an orca witness today. This is truly unprecedented. But even though this is highly unusual, I'm prepared to allow it. Bailiff, ready the witness telecast. We'll have a 10-minute recess while the telecast is being set up.
To be continued. Suzuki. Phoenix Editor told me the German version, but I forgot how to say it in German. Save game, yes please. Over slot 2, it looks like. Overwrite the selected save data, yes please. Alright, I almost hit return to title. July 22nd, 11:21 a.m. District Court. Defendant Lobby Number 3.
Leave it to you to think of something like calling Orla, Mr. Wright.
Well, she's the only one who knows all the answers after all. I just talked to Pearls, and she said Orla seems to be feeling fine. Now we have to try to figure out how Mr. Rhymes manipulated Orla.
If we put Mr. Rhymes and Orla together, maybe we can get some kind of clue.
And I can't forget about that strange set of prints of Rhymeses either.
I really appreciate you trying to save both Orla and me. I had no idea Marlon hated Orla like that. I feel like I've been shocked by a torpedo ray.
Of course he would hate the killer whale that murdered his girlfriend right in front of him.
Oh, Mr. Plume! You've been watching the trial?
Oh yes, I came to make a declaration of war. A declaration of war? No matter the results of today's trial, I will report the truth in my new book. Anyway, I went a minute over. I'll pause you guys in the next episode.